Hello, good evening, everyone. If you are here early, yep, just wait for a moment. Yeah, all right. Let me just update the rest of the group. All right. Okay. All right. So for those who are just joining us here, we'll wait for a moment. So while it is like 8 a.m. now, or sorry, 8 p.m. now, let me just ping to the group that we are live now. All right. So if you'd like to share this with your friends and family, please do so. You can just share this like a YouTube link to your friends. No bubble. I think it depends. Really, largely on Fed plan. Most likely should be encouraging actions for the market, but let's see. No one's know what Jerome Powell will do. All right, too much cash. All right, okay. So before you start, maybe just to share with those who are in the room right now. So if you would like to share with your friends and family, please do so, or else you can just wait for another 1-2 minutes. Let me just post all the updates to the various group, and then I will start this shortly. Okay. Yep. So welcome back to all WealthPulse viewers, and yep, like always, when we said 8 p.m., a lot of time people come in at 8:05, 8:10. But nevertheless, let me just once again ping to all the various group, and we will very likely start in another 1 minute. All right. Okay, let me just like ping to the various group. So while you see people start to streaming in, just type in the hi, just type in hello all. Yep. So you see various name, you can just greet each other. Like tonight we have Ruth, we have Julie, we have Scott Drake. All right. While slowly waiting people to stream in. Yep, you can just prepare yourself for the night. So later we'll just do a brief introduction of what is WealthPulse, what is so-called our goodwill, and then you have a better idea what we will be watching in a short while. Okay, all right. All right. So right now I'm doing some annoying work, not annoying, just informing the video group that I'll be live right now. All right. Rupert got ARM. All right. So right now time is 8 p.m. Welcome back to WellPulse. So first of all, for those who are online, welcome back. So just repeat this phrase. Unshameless plug. So if you have friends or families who'd like to get some updates about what the market is, like to learn a bit about investing, get some feeling or some educations or some entertainment about stock market, about investing, please feel free to share this live link to any of your close friends or families, or they can just like follow our channel, so you can share them their channel. If they are not free at this moment, they can always watch our snippets, our post edited versions, and some of the contents that we re-record and stuff in our YouTube channel. So you see lately for the past 1 month, there's a lot of YouTubes coming out. Yep. It is our deliberate actions to share with a lot more people about the topic of investing, because there's one very key numbers that we are informed about this morning. So there's a youth unemployment rate or even graduates unemployment rate in Singapore that what we often know is like roughly 7 to 8% unemployment rate. But lately, we have heard some of the statistic that sharing like 50%, which is alarming. But whether or not it's 50 or 7 or 8%, right now, I don't know whether you agree or not. There's a lot of anxiety. People are anxious whether they are having a job or not having a job, because there's a lot of like volatility. Even right now, market is booming, right? We are still feel insecure with our job, or we are still feel not as confident towards the market, right? If you feel so, just type in a one, type in a yes. All right. So this is what we are receiving or feeling it very recently. Okay. So just let me to reintroduce what is Goodwill. So Goodwill, we are a group of technologists, we are educators, all of us are investors. So we believe in personal finance, we believe in investing, and we believe all these financial literacies are human rights. All of us should learn about financial planning, financial personal finance management, right? So all of these are very common topic, but the problem is this: we also find out that although we are financial included, means financial inclusions in Singapore or even Southeast Asia are very high. For example, you definitely get open a bank account. You're definitely able to get like maybe some credit facilities or even buy now pay laters. But the problem is, uh, there's more than 60% of people are financially disengaged. In other words, when we talk about money, people just switch off. They say, bye bye, I'm not interested. So it's a bit difficult for people to learn about money. So that's why we are here. Not to say being a comedian or be a comedian to talk about finance, about investing, but I do my best to make finance like in layman term, in easier, digestible manner. All right. Okay. So 50% great food. This one I'm not so sure. But I don't know how the 50% came out. Maybe 50% of people are just getting temp job, or 50% of people are just getting like bridging job. Means this is not their intent to get into this job. So they put it as unemployed in some sense. So this one I'm not so sure. But yeah. So back then, for myself, for my era, whether or not it's my intended job, it's not my main concern. My concern is to get a job, get experience in the market, learn from it, and then grow from it. But right now, I will say that I don't know whether you agree or not. Right now, Gen Z or people who are just graduate, they have a lot of idea, or even they have very clear idea of what they want. So if they couldn't get what they want, they will be very disappointed in some sense. But for my era back then, it's like I get a job, I'm very happy, right? I just dive into it and learn from it, grabs a rope, and then if I can excel from it, the best. If not, I will look for other growth areas. So this is what for my era. Okay. Try to talk about tax, maybe they switch on again. Yeah, I mean, not just tax lah, maybe just simple like interest rate, or how can I make my money work better, or how can I save money here and there kind of thing lah. Yep. So thanks, Esther, for joining. Yep. So while people are following, oh, Abba Teslim, hello, yeah, welcome again. So there are a few on and off people who can make. So if you are just here, just give us a like, just give us some love emoji, and then I'll dive in straight away. All right. So right now it's 8:07, slightly later than what I intended to start, but nevertheless, let's go straight to it. So tonight, our topic is it about to burst? So Sam Altman, or the CEO or founder of OpenAI, he just dropped a bomb. So he dropped a bomb and said that right now AI is in a bubble. All right. So tonight we will talk about it as one of the topic. All right. So just to reiterate, we have covered a lot of companies topic. Even one of the most looked after event for this week, every investor is looking at it. I will talk about it as well. So you guess what is the event? All right. So company like TSMC, Lululemon. So Lululemon have some challenges in their market. Even SoFi is growing leaps and bounds after we dive into it. Not to say that we move the market, just that after we dive into it, we share out the opportunities, what the company does. I think in April May period, and then right now people who have invested, people who have followed, probably make some great returns. And for those who are options investors, yep, congratulations to you guys. All right. So we also talk about Meta, talk about like Apple, Oracle. So we have talked about a lot of topic, and specifically last week we talked about C Limited. So for C Limited, which is Shopee, Garena, and also what is it called? money. So if you are a Shopee investor, I believe you are very happy right now because of the good result, not just for the company, but also for your portfolio. All right. All right. Okay. So just a quick market update. Market is keep going all-time high, and then we are still in a slightly greed region. So it's like 61 according to Fear and Greed Index. All right. So these are the few earnings like we have highlighted throughout the last few weeks, and yep, we have covered C Limited, or yep. So for the last week itself, and then actually for this itself, I also finding some of the investment opportunities or some of the interesting earnings call that we can share and cover. And actually, I will trying to look into CoreWeave. CoreWeave is a newly IPO company, is so-called cloud server service for people who need a lot of computation. Yep. So this is the only one liner I understand about company. So I'll spend some time to understand what they do in terms of like data server provider or cloud services value chain. So this is the company. It just went up like 180% since their APO. Yep. Somehow, all right. Right. So last week itself, we have Aimer, we have Zoom. We'll talk about Zoom today. Workday, Intuit, Bilibili, the China YouTube. So these are all the companies that just released their result. And also for Moomoo user. So in Southeast Asia, even Singapore, Malaysia, Moomoo have been growing very strongly other than Tiger itself. So Tiger will be announcing the earnings as well this week. So Moomoo, the earnings have been great, and then the share price have grow from 100 to right now close to 200, most close to double. All right. All right. So this week itself, key focus of this week, all eye is on NVIDIA earning. So any NVIDIA investor right here. So if you're an NVIDIA investor, just type in a one, just type in a yes. Yep. All right. Whether it's hurt, it's burst, or just slow down. All right. Okay, let me just see right here. Yeah, hello. All right, Toa. Yep, three-headed dragon. Wow, Toa. Yes. um, actually, the dragon, the title is not so catchy in YouTube, and it's not keywords in YouTube. So yep, so we will be improving so-called our keywords so that we can we can grow lah in YouTube scene. Bitcoin and Nvidia. Wow, good news. All right. So yep. So hopefully, I will say if there's good news, Hu Guang will be the happiest guy because he has Bitcoin on Nvidia. All right. Need better SEO. Yeah, big tech, big days for tech. Exactly, exactly. All right. So this week itself, all eye Nvidia, and historically for the past 8 quarterly earnings, other than the latest one, actually all of their earnings have been beating the so-called the estimates from all the analysts, from all the investors. So Nvidia has consistently beat the analyst estimate for 8 straight quarter, other than the past one. So there's a lot of high hopes in the market because Nvidia itself, this trillion-dollar company, is the symbolic of the AI growth, and then the symbolic of market expansion, the symbolic of our so-called portfolio growth as well. All right, so all the companies are looking at Nvidia, and Nvidia, if there's good result, there's good earnings, and the sentiment is still upheld high, right? Most likely the whole market will move up. All right. So I see one very recent statistic to show that there's like close to almost 4,500 listed company. I think there's more, but I don't know why they show 4,500. But the key number is here. There's close to 4,600 ETF available in the market. So there's a lot of ETF. There's investment in NVIDIA as well. So any movement in NVIDIA will push up all these ETF as well. So it's like co-relationship manner, huh? Okay, so these are all the numbers and statistics that I draw from various so-called model. So you can see that this is from ChatGPT, this is on Gemini. All right. So I asked the same question in Perplexity. So if you are Perplexity user or even Claude user, Perplexity doesn't give me good result. So all these numbers may not be as accurate, but just a rough understanding on NVIDIA has been consistently beat the market. So let's watch on Thursday itself. Can they, on Wednesday itself, can they still beat the market estimate and bring the market higher? All right. And this week itself, there's like earnings announcement from the fintech, which is Tiger Brokers. Pinduoduo have announced. I haven't looked into yet. There's CrowdStrike, Viva. So if you know about Viva, Viva is something like a Salesforce kind of platform for pharmaceutical companies, or so-called the so-called medtech company. All right. And then we have Chargy on Friday and Alibaba on Friday. So what company are you looking at this week? Just type in, what company are you looking at? How long is going to stay high? I have no idea how long it's going to stay high, Abba. Rupert says, sure bit. You're sharing on NVIDIA. AMD was good also. Took a bite at it earlier. Yeah, so will be interesting to see how they hold up. Yeah, so all this like so-called earnings would definitely move the market by like a bit. But let me just get back to NVIDIA itself. So if you look at NVIDIA so-called earnings and then the market reaction, right? Actually, it doesn't correlate. In other words, when it beat the market, right? Doesn't mean the share price will go up. So just to highlight this like anomaly. So doesn't mean that it beats the market, the share price will go up, because at times when it beat the share price or it beat the estimates, but the share price go the other way. Because maybe the market have higher expectation. So whether or not market expectations does it close so-called move closely with the share price, I believe for investor will put more emphasis on the business itself. All right. Okay, so we have a lot of discussion happening. Is in our WhatsApp group, is in our community group. So if you have not joined us, I will urge you guys to join our community.goodwill.com. So we have a platform for you guys to discuss, to talk about investing, to ask about questions about investing in the market, or even if you have personal finance questions, these are the places you can ask. All right. So yeah, so welcome everyone joining us. All right. So like I said in the beginning of the session, Sam Altman just dropped very big bomb in the market last week. He said AI is in bubble and is very, very similar to what we are going through in .com era. So he is putting .com bubble and AI bubble together. So if it's, do you feel it's scary? Because he is the leader, thought leader. He's always the forerunner, the face to talk about AI, right? So right now he's saying AI is in bubble. What do you think? If you think it's scary, if you think it's like not quite bubble, yeah, just type in whatever you think. All right. So right now, just in the chat itself, just type in what do you think? Is it bubble? Is it not? Do you feel scary? Do you feel scared? All right. Or do you feel right now, bubble, the best, give me confidence? All right. Because I'm waiting for it. Yeah. Anything. All right. So Toa say haven't bubble yet. PR say unknown. All right. You can say Asia haven't started right now, already bubble. All right. So bubble doesn't mean that the development just stopped right there. Bubble in this bubble context, maybe it's just the investment part or the financial market part is bubble. Yeah. But when you talk about AGI haven't started and already bubble, it rings me about like the 3D printing. 3D printing, whether it's like really about, but there's a lot of discussion. People talk about additive manufacturing, and then it will be hurting all the Chinese manufacturing plant and stuff like that. But right now, hindsight, that one is definitely a bubble. All right. Yep. So the financial analyst say the bubble is still small. Nvidia has real earnings to back. All right. So this is what Sam Altman said. Are we in a phase where investors as a whole are overexcited about AI? He said, my opinion is yes. Right. So let's deep dive into or dive deeper into what so-called Sam Altman is talking about. So Sam Altman said like yeah. So in the interview with The Verge, so this is the interview snippet from The Verge. You can go read the article itself, but right now I just get the key gist of what he mentioned. So in the interview itself, he didn't hold back. He just said, "Are we in a phase in overexcited about AI?" His opinion is yes, right? And he also compared right this AI frenzy to .com bubble, and he said smart people are getting overexcited about a kernel truth. The technology is revolutionary. Don't get him wrong. So he said the technology is revolutionary. He still see development, but investor excitement has gone into overdrive. Means investors are too crazy, and he's not just saying like by words lah. So he did raise some examples. So there's a lot of investment. So for example, Facebook, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, all of them are spending a lot of money buying chips from NVIDIA. So there's a lot of investment into so-called like AI related stuff. And what's more than that? What's more than that? So if you know, OpenAI is not just Sam Altman. There's a few key player or few key so-called developers or key managers or key drivers in the business. So one of it is this lady called Mira Murati. I don't know whether you still remember or not. So previously, there's an incident whereby Sam Altmans are being outed by the investor, right, or the owner, right, and Mira Mirati is one of the so-called personnel who stand up and say, all right, so if you fire away Sam Altman, I will just leave the company as well. But sad to say, right now Sam Altman returned, right? She left. All right, so she left and then start a company called Thinking Machine. So there's this problem whereby Sam Altman said there's this problem. There's three people and big bucks coming in problem. Means there are people who have just idea or people who have just initiate some groundwork for their product. They doesn't have full product yet, but they are getting a lot of investment. So Thinking Machine, they raised 2 billion while their product is still developing. So this is what he's saying. And there's this like I don't know what his I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Ilya Sutskever. So he found this company called Safe Super Intelligence. Same thing, $1 billion raise, while a very minimal team. All right. So what he says is this: Altman is really in. I must say that it's really insane that this startup, three people and an idea secure high valuation, and this is a very big bets. So it's just like all those like funding days, right? Big bets or minimal proof concept product, but getting a lot of interest in funding. If you have this AI money come in, and then you get big valuations and a lot of cash coming in. So he said that someone's got to get burned by putting all this money in, and it's like phenomenal amount of money. Yep. So this is what Sam Altman are seeing. All right. So all in all, there's some statistics in the market lah. So yep. So OpenAI have spent trillions of dollars. Not just the rest. OpenAI also spend a lot of money in infrastructure, and then the problem is this: there's no measurable ROI right now, and in fact, 95% of all this investment, right, there's no measurable ROI. Means money go in, but there's no measurable ROI that come out from this investment. And these disconnections, he felt that is a very so-called serious sign as a bubble. And all this, he see that there's a pattern, and this pattern repeat just like dot-com era. All right. So let me just share this slide. Okay. All right. So this is some of the people like Wall Street analysts like you say, bubble may be bigger than the 90s. But the core technology is still revolutionary, but the bubble is bigger than the 90s. All right. And history have really suggested that company feel even underlying so-called technologies transform the world. So for example, internet, right? So dot-com bubble in that. So this is what they are raising. Okay. But all in all, just to go back to fundamentals. So go to back. So there's a lot of different opinion out there. Definitely, there's people who still believe AI. There's still area to growth. There's still a development out there, no doubt. But maybe in terms of investment side, it's a thing that for us as an investor we should look at, because in the end of the day, this is our money as an investor, and if you are invested in the company, you are the part owner. So your money is going to all this. You may need to put some attention to it. All right. Yeah. So some of the things that we should look at, for example, ROI data, so-called when the investment going to so-called infrastructure, what is the return on the so-called investor capital (ROIC). And some of the numbers we should always look at NVIDIA earnings. So if NVIDIA is not growing, means AI investment throttle down. There's also a so-called warning sign. And is there a lot of hype, like what you say, AGI this year, like what so-called, I think it's Hui Kong, right? AGI this year, and then is it really set in already? Yeah. So so financially, but we're still small. Towa say market so worried about this news is exactly AI is essential now. They are trying to cool the market expectations so that it will not crash. Okay, corrected. All right. Yeah. So AI is vital here. So these are all the things that we are looking at, especially in the face of is AI a bubble? So just to make sure the company that you invested in, make sure when they invest in so-called AI, there's like return on invested capital (ROIC), right? So this is the key thing to focus on. Other than that, yeah, NVIDIA definitely one of the key so-called numbers. Even we are not a big NVIDIA investor, we should still look at it, right? Okay, so just to share, I'm not really an NVIDIA investor, just that I use Tiger Boss Card. So Tiger Boss Card, when I go overseas, I use so they are powered by Wise lah. So I can just make payment at the checkouts, and then I will just get the best rate that provided by Wise, and then I'll just get 1% cashback, and this cashback is so-called stock back. In other words, I can choose so-called 1% rebate, not by cash but NVIDIA share. So I've been getting NVIDIA shares through that manner. All right. Okay. Yep. So and just to top up with it, so when I go overseas, so for example, when I go to Jeju, so this is how I track my expenses. I snap all the receipts. In the end of the day, I have a report to share what is my biggest expenses item and where do I spend. And after the week itself, at the end of the 7-day trip, I have a report to share. Hey, so what are the expenses that I've gone through? All right. So this helped me in terms of like managing my expenses when I go overseas. All right. Okay. So if you have yet to check out our Go Buddy, please do so, because we have seen that people are building their habits. Whether or not they are rich is secondary, because I believe people who manage their money definitely have some wealth. And definitely by managing their money well, they can grow their saving, grow their investment. So if you're yet to that, this is a so-called a free tool right now for everyone to use. Goodwill Buddy, just scan this QR code or just go to your Telegram, search Goodwill Buddy, and then you can just start by typing in /start, or you just like the conversion will initiate, and then you just start off from there, right? And after which you can log your so-called expenses, and then like track your expenses closely, and from your expenses build up the saving, and from saving build up your wealth and investment. All right, so this is a free tool that we provide for all investors, or for all people, right? Manage credit card expense. Yeah, people who manage their money has plans for it. Exactly. All right. Okay, so the second piece of news for tonight, Trump have again and again telling the whole world he get 10% of Intel share for nothing. He just get 10% of Intel share for nothing. Means he don't need to pay money, and then Intel just give them 10% of shares, and not to Trump, or not to his so-called his group of investor, is actually to US. All right. So US government right now own 10% of Intel share for nothing. Means they don't need to pay anything. But when I read this piece of news, right, actually, I was just thinking, really, just 10%, in a sense that Trump just said, hey, give me 10% of share. And then Intel didn't get anything in return. Yeah. So, and then when I read the news, there's some contradicting kind of like information. So tonight we'll go through it. So Trump get 10% of free Intel share. How is that possible? All right. So if you like to know about it, everyone just type in yes. All right. Just type in one and just give me some responses. Give me some like, or give me some so-called like hype in the chat itself. All right. You can just type in like Trump, Trump, Trump. The keyword Trump or the keyword Intel. All right, very very interesting news. When I heard, right, it's like, huh, really or not? Trump can just get 10% of shares. Wouldn't the investor get angsty? Like, "Hey, why you just give 10% of shares? Yeah, I know it's to US lah. I'm an investor. Why are you giving the shares? Like, yeah, Yep. And Intel worth, yeah, 100 billion. 10% means 10 billion. Why can just give out this like printing out and then just give out to US? So if I'm a investor, I would question that. But let's say even if I'm a so-called US citizen and also investor, I also question, right? Hey, this is my company, like why you do that? All right. Quite low for protection fee. Yep. So are they paying so-called like the so-called the in Chinese we call 黑社会 or the secret society or in Japanese called yakuza? We are just paying protection fee. All right, let's go dive into it. All right. So what happened is this. What happened is this. So on the 8th of August, Trump just called out the CEO, Intel CEO Tom Libu, and said, "Hey, you Intel, your CEO have close link with Chinese government. So it's either you change the CEO or you sell away." So at the point of time, you say CEO of Intel got to resign because it's the national interest. The national security is being threatened. Intel CEO, go out. You are fired on the 8th of August. And immediately, 3 days after, August of 11th, Trump meet Mr. Tan, which is Tam Libu, at the White House. And there's a 180-degree U-turn. He said, wow, this Mr. Tan is an amazing guy. It's an amazing story. And then he said, Tan will be meeting his cabinet and share with us some good news. On August of 22nd, means a few days ago, the US announced a deal to take close to 10%. It's 9.9 equity stake in Intel for 9 billion. Remember that we started off with Trump say that it's free 10% Intel share. What right now? Why is it 8.9 billion right here? So if you have that question, everyone just type in question mark right there. Right now, I was so confused. I thought it's free. Right now, you say it's 8.9 billion. So is it free or pay money? Yeah. And then Trump being Trump, he liked to win at all front run. He got Intel share already. And then he still say, "Oh, this is because the Mr. Tan Nick Boo would like to keep his job." Means he win already. He still want to win every single judgment, every single argument. Huh. So this guy, every face is the one to win one. All right. So what happened right here? So actually, it's not really free per se. What has been discussed is this. So previously, Intel have gotten some grant, have gotten some money from the government. They have so-called secure in some sense. All right. So they have secured like 5.7 billion unpaid grant according to 2022 Chips and Science Act. So there's this amount of money should have come in 5.7 billion. And there's another program, Secure Enclave Program, 3.2 billion. So if I'm not wrong, this 3.2 billion is something got to do with their so-called chip purchase by the US military, something along the line. So there's another 3.2 billion money that will be coming in. So right now, these two numbers add up close to 8.9 billion. And this 8.9 billion is going to purchase the 9.9% stake in Intel with 2.47 per share. So all in all, it's not free per se. These are all the grants that has already awarded to Intel but not paid yet. Has awarded to Intel but not paid yet. So in other words, theoretically, there are still money going to Intel. Just that it's not from Trump. It's from all the discussion that is in Biden era. So that's why Mr. Trump claimed that I didn't pay any money. Mr. Trump said that get it for free. But I believe the 9 billion right here is the art of negotiation. Very very interesting art of negotiation. So let's us take with a standpoint CEO Intel or CEO of Intel. So right now, I already have this 9 billion or 8.9 billion that should have gotten from the government. But Trump play punk. Yep. So this is what I so-called deduced, or what I so-called in my imagination think what has happened. So I believe Trump is playing some punk move or power move to say, hey, uh, the 8.9 billion or the close to 9 billion, I may not want to just give to you. All right. So it's either you give me some kickback, or you tell me or persuade me to give you this 9 billion. And Mr. Tan, I think he's also doing a power move. So instead of giving up this 9 billion and don't get this 9 billion in, right? So he's thinking of way to secure this 9 billion for Intel. All right. And what's better move to get the 9 billion? So the 9 billion, let's say from US government, right, as a grant, right, 9 billion go out is go out already. A lot of time government give out grant, right, go out means go out already. So it's in the hopes of this company will grow, or this company will so-called grow the overall economy or create jobs, right? But right now, this power move is this. So Tom Lim will say that, all right, so instead of just giving us a grant, why not you have a stake in the company? So the government give money to Intel, and then Intel give shares to the US government. So right now, do you see that actually, a very simple relationship right now, they make it even closer in that sense. Means US government is also investor of Intel. So right now, do you think that Intel actually lose out a lot by just giving up 10% share? They're actually getting buy-in from the government. This is what I think, huh? And then when Intel go out to all these different so-called US related or government parties, right? I think right now they have upper hand in negotiation, because right now US government is behind. Just like how China state-owned enterprise, just like how Singapore GLC or Malaysia, the Khazanah invested company. Yeah. So is US a free market, so-called democratic countries, or right now US is more of a socialist country? Yep. So it's like, yeah, what the fire agent said, you help me, I help you. All right. So I think this is a very smart move by both Trump administrator and both Intel CEO. All right. So both have their intention, they have their agenda, and then I believe both achieve their agenda, and then in the end, relations get better. But this is so-called the pro side, but there's also a con side. What is the con side? So in other words, so for example, right now Intel talking to US companies, US related companies, very simple, straightforward. All right. But let's say I'm a Chinese company. You have US investor, so-called US government in it. So right now, am I worried my data leak? Am I worried US will come to meddle the chip? Yeah, so there's this concern. So they might not be easy for Intel to get some of the more sensitive kind of like deals moving forward. Yep. But I will definitely see this as a very strong power move. All right. Okay, let me just get back to the slide. Yeah, so I did conclude some of the so-called like benefit for government. So so for example, American Great again. So they have this national agenda that they can so-called make Trump name better, bigger, and stuff like that. So you put into the Trump track record again. Does it mean to investors? So first thing, Intel secure the $9 billion. All right, and then actually there means like there's a stock warrant 5% that they can get additional shares at $20. All right, so this is what the stock warrants. All right, but this one we later on is a 5-year deal. Sorry. All right. Okay. Yep. So for investor, immediately stock boost after the news announced. Right. Yes, the share price is like 10% dilute, but no risk. It give up confidence or give confidence to the investor. The share price went as high as like 10%, and then closed like 8% up after the news are announced, right? And then yep, so there's a clear money coming in for the company, and then yep, there's no added debt per se. So right now the 8 billion, Intel don't need to think of way to secure like 8 billion. So right now they have 8 billion in their so-called companies lah. Yeah, the stream always catch the good stories. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so let's say I'm Intel investor, right? Initially, I will be angry and worried. Why give out 10%? Hey, this is my company. But this 10%, US government, you have a stake in this. You make sure that you protect me. Tax don't anyhow put on me. Tariff don't anyhow put on me because you got 10%. All right. So right now there's a 50 billion revenue. So 50 billion revenue, so-called annual revenue. So Intel is making losses right now, but there's 50 billion revenue. So 50 billion revenue, 10% stake, right? So there's 5 billion revenue that so-called US government have a piece of pie in it, right? So if the tax can relax a bit, the bottom line they can get some profit, right? The profit will flow back to US government if it's lesser tax. All right. Yeah. So investor will get some ROI, the US government get some ROI, and an Intel board member happy. The Intel CEO, Tom Libu, save his job also. So three party all happy. Win-win-win situation. All right. Yeah. So actually, there's another piece of things that I will share, but I will not share much right here. There's the return of the SPAC King. So, how many of you know what is SPAC? And then how many of you know this person called Shamat Palihapitia? So it's Shamat. All right. So, uh, SPAC is special purpose acquisition vehicle, something like special purpose vehicle. So a lot of like companies that out there, right? Instead of going through the normal route whereby they go through like all these listing rule, go through the process. There's this route whereby SPAC as a so-called investor group, they just list the SPAC up to the exchange, and then when they find suitable target, they acquire it straight away without going through the so-called the normal listing processes, which takes time and money. All right. Yep. So some of the big names like Grab, SoFi, SoundHound, IonQ, all of these companies status or these 10 or 11 companies stated right here doesn't go through a normal route. They go through the SPAC route, which is the shortcut or the speed road to the listing. Yeah. Yeah, so this guy shilling a lot for his project. All right. So I will not go deep into it, but you know that spec is coming back. Yeah, spec is coming back. So market right now very hot. So after all these few IPOs, right, spec is coming back. So I definitely think that the interest of new companies, the interest of the market is coming back, is getting hotter and hotter. Definitely. All right. Okay. So right now it's 8:40. I'll spend another 10 minutes to talk about Zoom kind of update. So usually I'll take 20 minutes to do the updates. Maybe I'll take 15 minutes right here. So usually the first 20 minutes to talk about market. So I think the market there's a lot of news. That's why we put some time to talk about it. And right now the next segment, the second segment, we'll talk about Zoom Limited. All right. Zoom Limited, is it a buy or bye? All right. So there's a point of time whereby there's a lot of online activity. What's the time? COVID period. So when COVID periods come, there's a lot of online activities. Zoom has right on the growth. But after COVID, since 2022, when things open up, the interest dwindle. Everyone have to go back to office. Zoom usage went down. Their retention rate went down the hole. All right. So the share price tanked close to 90%. All right. So not just Zoom, all this related like so-called online webinar tools and stuff like that, all go through the same route. All right. So let's look at this like chart right here. So you see eight times eight. So this is one so-called also one of the so-called online platform where people can do online meeting and so-called conference and stuff. So crash 90%. All right. Ring Central, same thing, crash 90%. So although you see green right here, right? All this great crash 90%. Zoom also crash 90%. So even Cisco, not so much on Zoom period, but in 2000.com era, they also have this like 90% crash. All right. So it takes a long time, close to 20 years, and then Cisco hasn't recovered to their high or their top yet. And then there's another company called Nice. So so specifically I raise it right here because Nice, there's a different business model that they have. Although they have some bad so-called journey in the 2022. as well. Means the COVID also follow boost up, and then 2022 they went down, but they are not as bad as 8 times 8, Ring Central, or even Zoom Communication, which is 90% drop. All right. So later I'll share with you a bit of what NICE is doing and then what Zoom is trying to do to change this situation. All right. So is it a buy or buy? Let's look into it. So Zoom is in this segment, which is called Unified Communication as a Service, means online communication as a service, whereby is in line with some of the provider right here, like Webpack, Cisco's, we have Microsoft Teams, Ring Central as well, this company called 8 times 8, Tata Communication. So there's a lot of players in this unified communication as a service, right? And Zoom has also dived into this segment called contact center as a service. So previously, Zoom is pretty much like online meeting, online conferences. But right now, they also expand into contact center. Means like previously, if you heard of this term called VoIP, so you always use landline, right? So right now we don't use landline, we use like so-called digital line, right? With digital line, you can use internet to do calls. So you are not tied down to the so-called landline. You are not tied down to the desk. You can just do this work in any places. Contact center service. Tata from India. Yes, exactly. All right. So Zoom have branched out from unified communication to contact center as a service as well, right? So these are all the ones, darling. So let's look into Zoom recent update. So um, after the drop down, right, I haven't looked into Zoom for the longest time because I thought their needs is not there. They need to look into their business offering. They have looked into the business model and then create values that their customer will pay the bill. So first thing, with AI, right, there's this Zoom AI companion, just like any notes on so-called online notes taking out there. If you are in so-called Teams, right, you have this plugin. You are in Google Meetup, right, you have this plugin to do summary of the meeting itself. All right, meeting as you go, change the yeah. So this is the thing. Zoom AI companion. They have like million active users, and it has grown 4 times per year. Means people are using Zoom AI companion to do summary, to send out to their so-called send out email, and then so previously when I thought Zoom AI companion is just summary ma, but on top of that, with the summary, they can summarize based on people. They can summarize based on who they want to write to. So for example, in the whole meeting itself, there's this segment they need to write to their so-called upper management. So they just need to use this AI companion to sniff out important pointer and write it to their so-called for example, their upper management. For example, let's say right now there's this discussion between these two parties. So there's this like client and supplier. So client and supplier, these two parties, there are this negotiation, and then they want to get upper management to give go ahead for this project proposal. So instead of like writing the meeting summary and go back to the manager, you can straight away in the meeting itself use AI companion to send an email blast to their upper management to get approval immediately. So this is what Zoom AI companion is doing. All right. There's a lot of use case, but this is just one of the many use case, right? And there's this Zoom Customer Center. It is so growing. There's a lot of big wins right here. And then there's this virtual agent. So let's go one by one. So they have win like so-called contract with HubSpot. They have win contract with F5. All right. So this is indoor workspace unified communication as a service. So instead of using Zoom, or sorry, instead of using Teams, or instead of using Google Meetup, so right now people are using Zoom as their online meeting tools. All right. What happened if AI valuations crash? Will it take the whole market? Definitely it will. All right, powered by ChatGPT. Wow, this one I'm not so sure. I think for them they can use multiple language model lah. Right? Is there any safe play in AI right now, or are all too risky? All right. um, uh, Kingston, very good question. Is there any so-called safe play, and or they are all of them too risky? All right. So what do you deem safe and what do you deem risky? And what is risky means to you? or what is risky means to the company. Let's clarify that in a short moment. I'll come back to it. All right. So let's come back to this. So there's this customer service segment, and then there's 229. Not big, definitely not big. We have Fortune 500. You still got another 270 to go. All right. So they have another 270 to go. To come as a customer service, so-called online, and then right now it's like 100k, just 100k ARR, but it's growing at 94%. So this is the segment they are growing in terms of like customer contact center. All right, customer center. So there's Project Big Win, and this Big Win is reliant on one of the so-called reseller or their consultant, which is PwC. So they have partner to share up their service. So this partner is PwC. So PwC can, instead of sharing so-called Microsoft Teams, or instead of sharing like so-called AWS systems, so right now they can share Zoom customer contact center service. All right, and then there's this Vogue Vivo. Right, so these two, how does it differ from our Zoom interface? Right, so let me just let's go watch this video. A Never mind. I just blocked like this. All right, so I know, is there any like customer service so-called personnel or customer service, like anyone is in customer service? So if you make a call, right, it's either you make through your phone, you make through a landline. So right now there's a change to VI, so-called VO, so voice internet protocol, something along the line. So this is something like voice internet protocol, but this voice internet protocol is not just calling. There's also data analytics. There is also so-called summaries. There's AI within it. So previously, when I used VIOP in like in our previous company, right, it's just pure calling out and receiving call. That's it. Yeah. So there isn't analytics. There isn't like so-called function of analyzing my call. There isn't function like summarizing my call. So Zoom right now having this like customer contact center as a service, they can do all that. All right. And next thing is Vogue Vivo. So if I look at Vogue Vivo, right, it's something like Facebook for company. So for company internal usage or LinkedIn within a company. So this is another so-called I would say HR tool, HR tool for company to be more cohesive, to know about each other, to get updates within the company. So this is Work Vivo. See, so they are not just like what we're using on Zoom or just Zoom webinar, Zoom meeting. So there's all these function. All right. Uh, and right now they have stabilized. You see that for the past like 1 year, right? Their money churn is less than 3%. All right, monthly churn is less than 3%. So they have stabilized the churn. All right. So any so-called as a service company, churn is very close number that need to look at. So churn is right now lesser than 3%. Good news for Zoom. But if you look at growth right now, right, their total revenue is growing at 5%. Enterprise revenue, which is all those like contact center, Work Vivo, is growing at 7%. So they are picking up their steam again. They are picking up their steam again. All right. And yep. So compared to maybe um, CloudStrike, maybe the retention rate is not as good. Enterprise rate is at 98%. Yeah, it's not as good. But if you compare to Salesforce, right? Actually, Salesforce is roughly the number, 90 over percent. Yeah. So they are not too bad in that sense. They are not too bad in that sense. All right. Yeah, so this is what it conclude lah. The numbers is going well. They are making profits. Yeah. So maybe just some key highlights lah. So first thing, this is the highest revenue growth for 11 quarters. Right now, it's growing at 4 to 5%. It's still single digit, not impressive enough. If you look at some of the companies that we use, like CrowdStrike or even like C Limited, it's not impressive yet. But there are some signs that they are picking up in enterprise revenue, 7%. Large customer is growing at 8%. So they have some sign whereby they are growing. Still single digit, but they are growing. Uh, so it's not dying. It's not bye-bye yet. All right. And right now they are in AI first, and then contact center is growing at like close to 100%. Yeah. So if you are using like So it depends on the company. So some of the companies are using Teams. Some of the companies are using Google Meetup. So if your companies are using Zoom, maybe you can share with us your experience. How is Zoom AI companion helping you in terms of like after meeting, post meeting, pre meeting kind of like activities? All right. Yep. So all in all, if you compare to these few parties right here, right? Yeah. So Zoom is definitely one of them. They are picking up steam. And then why I specifically raise up Nice, right? Because Nice is contact center as a service, and they are not as bad compared to the rest. So I think this is the reason why Zoom pivot. So the conclusion is this. Zoom right now, they also pivoted their business model. They go into like Zoom AI Companion, not just meeting, not just webinar, just Zoom AI Companion. They go into contact center as a service. They go into like work platform like Work Vivo, right? So all of this is providing value, added value to their clients, growing their enterprise customer. So they are not so-called reliant on a single usage or single point. Okay. And previously, when they want to do a lot of plugin and stuff, right, they also stop all that. If you remember one point in time, Zoom keep inserting different plugin, right, just to make meeting fun, just to make webinar fun. But in the end of the day, it's not about making fun. It's more of like making it so-called effective and productive to their client and user. So I guess at this moment, my personal feeling is right now they have found their so-called value added. They have found their niche, and right now they are expanding their revenue at this moment. All right. So what's the chart? Right. So this is Zoom chart. All right. So right now there's live flat for close to 4 or 5 years, 90% down from the top. Okay. Okay, so after the sharing, I've not gone into the numbers yet. So numbers portion and stuff like that, right? Uh, it it may not be as easy to understand. So that's why you always put that in our closed community to talk about numbers. And for those who have better idea of how we look at numbers like profit margins, their growth, their ROE and stuff like that, most of the time we will share this in our closed team. So if you like to understand our thought thinking on how to decipher all this number, how to get ourselves up to all these like management's key sharing key ideas. Just join us in our WealthPulse, right? So this is where we deep dive into products, the company products, deep dive into business model, deep dive into numbers, even deep dive into some of the earnings call, earnings transcript that we find very, very important. We will share this information or share this understanding and analysis in WealthPulse, all right? Why? Because we believe some of the information, yes, is powerful, but if you don't have the understanding, if you are not in tune or aligned with what we are sharing, it might not be useful or it might be detrimental to your investment. So if you're interested, you can always join us on WellPower Zoom. All right. Okay. So this is that's all for online portion for tonight in YouTube. So once again, follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our channels, follow us. If you like what we are sharing, yeah, give us some like. Okay. And at the end of the session itself, you will see this live portion always right there. But we also cut out some snippets, very quick understanding of each topic. So do watch out our YouTube in the next few days. Jiaxuan will be helping us to make it more concise, make it sounds better, feel better, watch better. You can watch in 2 times speed or even 3 times speed. All right. So watch out our YouTube video. So if you are on YouTube, subscribe our channels. When it pop up in your YouTube, give us some like, give some comments, share with us your thoughts. All right. And then if you like it so much, share with your friends, share with family. We very appreciate your sharing of them. Okay, so that's all for YouTube session. Right now, I'll jump straight to our Zoom session itself. In Zoom session, we will talk about ARM. We will talk about a bit about the Zoom numbers. All right, and then for those who have the link ready, we will see you right there. For those who have not, I will post up the link in the YouTube in a short while. Okay, so once again, thanks for joining us online. It's my great pleasure to share my learnings to you guys. And then if you have any comments and feedback, just feel free, just type in the Zoom chat or just type in the YouTube chat, just type in under the video. That's the motivation for me to keep improving and also make relevant content. All right. So just to share one of the learnings that I get in watching one of the YouTube videos by this Carnegie Mellon professor. right? So later I'll share the link in the Zoom chat as well. So in Carnegie Mellon professor, the sharing itself, he's the math professor. So what he believed in teaching and education, right? So he's find this thing about all so-called the smart student, he put it, the smart student when it comes to math, right? So he find, hey, actually this student are very, very smart. They are not lack of intellectual. So for example, they find student in 10 to 12 years old, right? Where do they get more learning from? The best learning from is actually from people to 15 to 18 years old. And people 15 to 18 years old, after they graduate, actually, some of the times they felt lost. They felt they don't know how to deal with people. So they find, actually, there's a lot of soft skill, right? People who couldn't get, right? So in order to make math fun, in order to make these people not just growing in academic, he have done this thing. All the math so-called learner in his community, right, or in his service, right, he have this comedian. He get comedian to sit in and give feedback to all these so-called math learner or math teachers when they share, right, to share with more empathy, compassion. Because what, comedian may not understand your math. So as you share your math, right, it's important that you share in his language in a manner that he can understand. So your communication will be effective. And who is the best in having empathy to get the so-called feeling expressions across, so-called from the audience? Is comedian. Yeah. So this is the thing whereby when you go to some of the YouTube video that talk about all these things, right? These the things that strike me hard. Education is not just learning, it's also learning in a fun manner, and not just fun in the sense that just blindly just hee ha ho ho. It's more of like having empathy, also being kind to listener, shared in a way that listener could absorb and receive and grow. All right. So these are the things that I learned as well. So if you have been watching this, I hope that I've shared you some key learning pointers. You can grow from there. And I hope that you'll come back every single week. All right. So this is my sharing for tonight. So next Tuesday or every Tuesday, WealthPulse, 8 p.m. I will share with you the market updates. I will share you some key insights. If there's like earnings call, earnings updates that is important that I find you can share, I will do that as well. And in this session itself, I hope I can bring so-called your confidence when deal with market volatility, market uncertainty, and in the end of the day, to reduce your money anxiety, the market anxiety, so that you can focus on your key work in your life and at the same time grow your wealth. Right. So that's all for tonight. We'll see you next week, Tuesday. Right. So for those who on our WealthPulse community, I will switch on to Zoom and then I'll see you right there. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.